the source of the rhythm my heart keeps beating. And they say you can give the blind their sight, and you can bring the dead to life. You can be the hope my soul's been seeking. I wanna tell you now that I believe it. I wanna tell you now that I believe it. I do, that you can make me new. Oh, I'm an empty page, I'm an open book. Write your story on my heart. Come on and make your mark. Author of my hope, maker of the stars. Let me be your work of art. Won't you write your story on my heart? Write your story, write your story. Come on and write your story, write your story, write your story on my heart. My life, I know it's never really been mine, so do with it whatever you like. I don't know what your plan is, but I know it's good, yeah. I wanna tell you now that I'm believing. I wanna tell you now that I'm believing in you. So do what you do. Oh, I'm an empty page, I'm an open book. Write your story on my heart. Come on and make your mark. Author of my hope, maker of the stars. Let me be your work of art. Won't you write your story on my heart? Write your story, write your story. Come on and write your story, write your story, write your story on my heart. I want my history to be your legacy. Go ahead and show this world what you've done in me. And when the music fades, I want my life to say, hey, hey. I let you write your story, write your story. Write your story, write your story. I'm an empty page, I'm an open book. Write your story on my heart. Come on and make your mark. Author of my hope, maker of the stars. Let me be your work of art. Won't you write your story on my heart? Write your story, write your story. Won't you write your story on my heart?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hello, and welcome to Power Up. I'm so excited to be here, and I am so honored to be your host. My name is Catherine Cespedes. You guys call me Cat around here. And if you're watching us on our live stream, hello and welcome. I noticed that you guys are tuning in from Yucaipa, from Rancho Bernardo, from Indiana, from Florida, from New York, from Ithaca, from Canada. If I forgot anyone, then I'm sorry. Tune in and let me know where you're tuning in from. I can't check in with you right now because I'm on stage, but I'll talk to you after. So this is a perfect time where you can go onto your phone and check in on Facebook, and then you could put it away and put it on silent. This way you can give yourself a full hour to really be here and be present. We have a powerful lineup like we always do. I'm incredibly excited to be here with you as I always am. Today, yeah! All right, so we have this amazing artist. He was actually the music director at the CSL convention this past week. He has been playing the piano since he was 4 years old. Everybody loves him. Like, look at him. Like, everybody loves him. He's full of energy. He has a beautiful voice and a vibrant music. He actually brought his merch here, so if you want some of that, it'll be in the family room at the end of service. With all that being said, please help me give him a warm welcome to Mr. Gary Lynn Floyd.
Thank you. So nice to be here. Thank you, Kat, for the invite. I hope you'll sing with me. I'll sing a line, you sing a line. We'll just start it out like that. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. Sing it with me. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. Sing that with me. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. You'll know this one. Oh, that's the way, I like it, 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 I sing my joy, I sing my joy, I sing my joy into the world. Sing with me. I sing my joy, I sing my joy, I sing my joy into the world. I sing my joy, I sing my joy, I sing my joy into the world. Sing. I sing my joy, I sing my joy, I sing my joy into the world. Oh, that's the way, I like it, that's the way, I like it, that's the way, I like it, oh yeah, that's the way, I like it, I sing my peace, I sing my peace, I sing my peace into the world. Everybody, I sing my peace, I sing my peace, I sing my peace into the world. I sing my peace, I sing my peace, I sing my peace into the world. Sing it out now. I sing my peace, I sing my peace, I sing my peace into the world. How do you like it? That's the way, I like it, that's the way, I like it, that's the way, I like it, that's the way, I like it. I sing, 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 sing my peace. One more time with love, here we go. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. Sing it out now. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. One more time. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. All right, thank you for singing. Thank you, thank you.
Wow. I mean, I knew you were going to be good, but, you know, you're really good. All right.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you. All right, so this is the part in Power Up where we have a practitioner come up and do a prayer for us. Now, the practitioner that we have on pulpit this evening is Audra Nicole, and she is a practitioner here at Seaside, and she's also heading up the Next Generation Retreat. So please give her a warm welcome to Audra Nicole.
Do you guys feel that in your bones after Gary's song? I can feel it inside of me. I'm just all tingly. So just feeling into all of that love and all of that joy and all of that peace. Let's ground into that. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. If not, no worries. Let's take a deep breath together in. One more time. Feeling that power, feeling that depth, feeling that strength and that goodness in my bones. What a beautiful, powerful, sweet reminder that the good, this God, this wonderful magic that we call life is closer to me than my breath. It's closer than my skin. It's closer than my blood. It's closer than my bones because it is me, as me, and through me. Because I am the place that God breathes. My heart is a heart that God beats. And as I know this, and as I feel this, it feels so good. And I know this truth for each one here. I know that everyone here is spirit in form, a blessing, a light, a love, a gift to this night, to each one, and to so, so many more. And in this community, and in this collaboration, and in this powerful evening, I know that it is good. I know that we are graced by the presence of Kimjera's powerful words. I know that we are blessed by the excitement and the enthusiasm of our beautiful cat. And I know that we are graced with the music and the magic and the sensation of Mr. Gary Lynn Floyd. For this and so much more, I am grateful. Knowing the good and knowing this power and knowing this truth. Equally knowing the perfection of the law. And as these words are spoken, I know that they are already complete, so I release them, I relax, I rest, I set them free. And so it is.
Thank you, Audra. Okay, so each one of us went to work, had something to do today. And whether you're logging in through our Facebook Live or through our website, you also have a life too, and you went to work and you did stuff, and yet you're all here, and we're all here in this space. So something inside of you said, get in your car and come to Seaside. Log in and watch Power Up. So together, we're gonna go into that space to find our intention for this evening. Gary. Gently, we're gonna open up our eyes, coming back into the room. Welcome. Together we share our intentions. What came up for you? Compassion. Fullness and expansion. You came to the right place. To spend some time with our family here. Dance came up for me. I'm not sure what that means. To get grounded. Love. Inspiration. So, for all the intentions said and unsaid, and for everyone who's watching, together we say, and so it is. So, you all came to the right place for all the intentions that you said and did not say. Because tonight we have an amazing speaker. You guys have seen her before, but I want to honor her with a wonderful introduction. Kimjera is a ministerial student who will be graduating in June. Yeah, she's graduating in June, and she was born into this practice, into this philosophy. She has 3 children, and she is working full-time, and here she is helping us create this Power Up service, coming all the way out from Temecula. Please help me give her a warm welcome to Kimjera Whittington.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Feels so good. I can feel the energy, and I don't know. I feel the people online, too. I don't know what that's about, but I'm feeling you. Thank you so much, Kat. That was wonderful. So today I wanted to take some time and just honor that at Seaside for the past month, we've been talking, because it's the season for nonviolence, we've been talking a lot about that world peace concept and how do we show up in the world and express ourselves in a way that we can show loving kindness to every single person that we meet, right? It's not always easy to do because our judgments and our thoughts and everything get in the way, but that's the idea, is if we truly can open our hearts and we can allow ourselves to step into our greatest sense of ourself, then we would see everybody perfect, whole, and complete. We would know that no matter what color, what race, what sexual orientation, what our neighbor has done or not done, right? We're still going to love them just the same. And when I thought about what I wanted to do for tonight, I realized that we can start so big like that. But really, Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, always takes us back to it starts inside. So I want to take us into what does it mean to have that inner peace? Because until we have inner peace, it's very difficult for us to then help the world be at peace. You guys with me? Okay, so my talk title today is called The Calm Within the Storm. And when I think of how important it is for us to be in that state of peace, I think a lot of that for me comes from, what does it even mean to me, and how do I even know if I'm ever even there? Because I think a lot of times we're having those moments, we're having those glimpses. We don't even know that we're doing it, right? It's showing up, but we're so not conscious of it. And I think this idea of inner peace a lot of times can seem so far-fetched that we almost think like that's something that happens to the other person, but maybe not necessarily to me because I don't really know when I'm there. In Hinduism, they say that inner peace is found when one is free from the inflictions of the mind. In Buddhism, they actually say that the whole idea of one's life is to find peace. And they call it shanti. And they say that if you want to find peace, the first thing you have to do is find the causality of it. And once you do that and you understand that, then your own inner peace can become world peace. In Christianity, they say that inner peace is wholeness of mind and spirit. Sound familiar? Yeah. I love looking up quotes. In Isaiah 26:3, there's a great quote, and they say, "You will keep in perfect peace those who are steadfast because they trust in you." So that's straight from the Bible. And really what they're saying is inner peace is God. It's spirit, and that's within. Right? So we're all saying the same thing. Doesn't matter what you study, what you want to learn. Everybody's saying the same thing, that we ultimately want to get to that place. We want to get to that freedom and that sense of self. So I was thinking to myself, okay, when are those moments when I think I might be there, but maybe not know it? And so I was thinking of a couple weeks ago when I was driving to take my daughter to drop her off at a friend's house. She's 14, freshman in high school, and I feel like I don't really ever see her. She's always somewhere else. So I was dropping her off because she wanted to go hang out, and I got back in my car, and the next thing you know, I was home. Literally no idea how I got there. Don't remember driving. Don't remember stopping at any stoplights or signs. Have no idea if anybody else was even on the road with me. Like literally, I got in my car and the next thing I remembered, I pulled into the driveway and I was like, I'm home. And my instant reaction was like, oh my God, that's bad. I don't even know how I drove home, right? Everybody done that at some point? I was scared. I was in fear. I was ashamed. Like, what kind of person am I? If the DMV knew this, they would not be happy with me right now. Like, I was literally not paying attention. Or was I? See, I believe that my moment, my 5 minutes of dropping her off till I was home was really surrendering from my conscious mind to my subconscious. I still was very clear driving, right? It was my subconscious mind driving me home. I just was in that moment of bliss. I didn't remember anything. I didn't have to be present in that moment. It was almost that space between when you're present and you're not present and you just are. Yeah, experience that? So to me, that was the best example of those moments of peace that we don't even realize we're having. And yet, did I run in my house and go high five to my husband? I don't even know how I drove myself home, but I did it. That was awesome. I had 5 minutes of pure inner peace bliss. No, I didn't do that. I was embarrassed. I was oh, I'm not telling my husband that. He'd be okay, you're tired, we need to figure this out. He'd have another reason for it, right? Because the instant reaction is to say that that's not an okay place to go to. So when I thought of myself doing that, I thought, well, why did I feel that kind of sense of shame in that moment? And I think that's where we go to. I think if I dig deep and understand why we don't allow ourselves always to be in that calm tranquility that peace brings us, it's because shame comes in somehow or in some form or fashion. Even in that simple moment of driving, I had shame. How bizarre is that? I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't do anything, but yet I had shame, somehow something was wrong with me. And see, that's the definition of shame. It's that feeling of disconnection. Or it's that feeling that somehow we're fundamentally flawed. I think that's the problem. We don't want to own when we're flawed. Who wants to say, yeah, I kind of suck at this? Yeah, no, yeah. It's a hard one, right? We don't always want to say that because we're somehow ashamed to say that. Brene Brown, I've been reading her book again, Daring Greatly. Every so often something calls to me on my spiritual bookshelf, and that one has been calling to me. And she has this great quote. She says, only when we are brave enough to explore darkness are we able to discover the infinite power of our own light. So let me say that again. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness are we able to discover the infinite power of our own light. Right? We have to go through the darkness to get there. We have to feel it. We have to see it. We have to accept it. That's how we get there. And when you think about when we don't do that, how does shame manifest in us? Ways that sometimes we don't even see it, right? I think a lot of the physical pain that we experience in this world, comes from that. It comes from those underlying belief systems. And when you think of holding all of that in when you feel like you're fundamentally flawed, it can manifest in cancer. It can manifest in extreme, pain. It can manifest in other diseases and physical ailments that nobody would want to go through, and yet it happens. It also can manifest in mental issues such as anxiety and depression. I don't think our society has ever experienced more anxiety and depression than we probably have right now in this world. And we have to wonder why. But when we're holding on to the shame, it has nowhere to go. So we internalize it into our bodies. It happens also in relationships. I think even in my own relationship and relationships with, let's say, friends and coworkers, you say something wrong, right? Or you say something that you think is wrong, or you have a reaction to something or somebody, and then you stand back and go, ooh, yeah, not my best self. Didn't do that one very good. Could have handled that whole situation a lot better. But then do we go to that person and say, you know what, I apologize, I probably could have handled that better. I wasn't my best self at that moment. Not usually. Sometimes maybe. But sometimes we do well, yeah, but they didn't handle themselves either very well. They yelled back at me and said some really mean things. So you know what? And really, quite frankly, I'm right anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? So it's difficult. It shows how often it's just difficult to accept that sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we might, have characteristics about ourselves that, might not be rosy all the time. And yet, the question is, can we love ourselves anyway? I'm going to show you a clip of a movie, and just hold on one second. I'll tell you when to play it. But so I'm a little bit of a spiritual movie junkie, and I've expressed this before on stage because it's a problem. At nighttime, I like to watch spiritual movies just because it helps me go to sleep in a really good way. That's pretty much the reason. So I've probably watched the movie The Moses Code, and if any of you guys have seen it, it's a documentary type movie. It kind of follows The Secret, if you're familiar with that, but a little bit deeper. But I've probably watched this thing like 30 times. Yeah, I'm gonna admit it. For the first 29 times I watched this clip, and I really had a bad reaction to it. Like, I fundamentally, didn't feel like I got it, and it triggered a lot in me. Why, you'll see, why is she calling herself this? Why is she saying that? Why is she owning that? It didn't resonate with me. And it wasn't until about the 30th time that I watched it, literally. Right? Am I the only one that it takes 30 times to get something? But it was a lot of times watching it that I finally heard it. So I'm going to have her play it now.
When I first decided to be on this spiritual journey, I was really looking to become a better me. And my sister always told me that I was angry and I was selfish and self-absorbed and these whole list of characteristics that I didn't want to be. So I started working on becoming this nice person. And I learned how to talk in a nice voice, and I learned how to give things away that I had if you wanted them. I did all these things. And then I went to a seminar one day, and I'm standing there and everybody's looking at me. In the middle of the seminar, this woman shouts out, "You're a bitch." And I thought, well, I know that. How does she know? And she said to me, "Let me ask you something, Debbie. If you were remodeling a house, and you were 6 weeks late and $20,000 over budget, do you think it might help to be a little bitchy?" And all of a sudden, a light went on, because I thought if I just got rid of all my bad qualities, and believe me, I have plenty, that somehow that would make me a good person. The piece I was missing is that every dark quality of mine came bearing gifts.
And you can go down the list, things that we see that are very negative, oftentimes have the effect of taking us to the next stage of our evolution. You take somebody like George Bush, he was an evolutionary trigger. He's galvanized the peace movement, parts of the peace movement that had never spoken to each other in many years, since the 60s. He comes along with a war ethic and a preemptive strike war ethic, peace movement starts popping. So he actually was a very positive force for the evolution of many positive things on the planet.
See, if I want to grow and evolve spiritually, I have to take my projection off of them and own and embrace that part of myself.
We have to be lovers of humanity, we have to be lovers of ourselves, and even seek to love that which our ego or our mental perception would say, you know what, I can't love that.
I'm a phony bitch. Now the question is, how am I going to love myself being a phony bitch?
Go within and embrace it anyway.
And even as I say this, they're probably going to bleep me out because nobody can bear that they might be a phony bitch. So then they've got to shut me down, and we all have to pretend like we're not that. People get confused in this conversation because they'll say, well,
You're good.
I'm a murderer, or I'm not.
We'll go ahead and stop that. So, if we can bring the lights back up, great. All right, so yes, I played that in church. Can you believe it? Yes, you can clap to that. I don't know if you had the same reaction as me, but I had this intense triggering reaction, like I can't believe that she wants to acknowledge that part of herself. But I think the problem is we sometimes want to push it down. We want to hide it. We want to act like it doesn't exist. When the truth is, we have come here on this planet to be these beautiful expressions of spirit. We are made as spirit. We are God in action. So nothing can be wrong with who and what we are. We are perfect. And even those parts of us that are ugly or that we think are ugly, right? They're perfect. That's life. That's who we are. And I think what I loved once I got it was that she's accepting that. See, I think the fundamental concern is that if we're not paying attention, then shame becomes something that we become silent about. And the minute we become silent, we give it power. So the goal is, how do we heal it? We take away its power. And if we talk about it and we own it and we realize, you know what? To somebody else, I might be fundamentally flawed. You know, I might be acting a specific way as she expresses, but those qualities serve me in other aspects of my life. And so there's nothing really wrong with me. I love myself for all of it. Now, that does not necessarily mean that we want to go and have a difficult conversation with somebody and then not own it, right? We don't get a free pass of saying I can not be nice to people and then just say, well, but that's just me, so love me anyway. Like, you know, you can try that. I just don't know how many people are going to stick around you for very long. You know, what this is really accepting it. And when you have, let's say, that difficult conversation where you maybe didn't respond the way that you thought you would, being able to say, you know what? I can do better. But I'm okay. Like, I see the shame coming. I recognize it. I'm acknowledging it. And I'm taking away its power because I'm not going to be silent about it anymore. And with that, you grow. And you become stronger, and you become more powerful. That's how it works. So there's this great story that Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, puts in the book, This Thing Called You. If you haven't read that book, it's a great book that I always recommend when you're starting out because it really just kind of makes the concepts very easy to comprehend. And one of the descriptions that he has is thinking that you're looking down a tunnel. And if you think of yourself just looking down a tunnel, it's dark, not pretty, kind of scary looking, you know, doesn't feel very safe. But you know that on the other side of that, you see some light, you see some grass, you see some flowers. You're like, okay, I want to get there because that's way prettier than where I'm standing in this tunnel right now. But it doesn't feel like you can get there. And you're a little bit scared, right? And he says there's two thoughts that usually go in your head. The one side of you says, which is usually the side that's talking about it like, you know what? It's just an illusion. Really, there's nothing there. You're just making it up. And so that's kind of that negative side that doesn't want you to take the step forward because your fear is taking over. Then there's that other side of you that he says is the peace within you talking. And that side is saying that it's not an illusion, that you deserve the good that's on the other side of the tunnel, that you have the right to it. And that if you take the step and do the journey and do the work and make yourself walk through it, you will reap the benefits of everything that Spirit and God has to offer you. And I love the metaphor because I think that what he's basically describing is what is going on in your mind. And so he has this quote, "As you walk through the tunnel, the darkness will disappear because of this light. You will discover the other half of yourself, and you will discover that this tunnel is in your own mind." Right? We're doing that all the time. I think another great example of this is when I think of, a storm or a hurricane, and I think of how it swirls and it swirls and it swirls. And, I've never lived in the Midwest, But I've worked there a lot and been in some crazy storms, and I've seen the destruction that can take place. I mean, a hurricane can take cars and flip them, and houses and flip them, and people and flip them, and the truth is, it's scary, at least to me. I know they think that our earthquakes are scary. I think that their hurricanes are more scary, probably because of where you live. But what's interesting about the dynamic of a hurricane is, if you were to stand in the center of it, if you stand in the eye of it, is what they call that the winds are converging so strongly around you. They're the surface winds, and they're fighting and circling, and they're actually trying to pressurize into the center. But the way that it works is it can never reach the center. That's how they work. So you can literally stand in the center of a hurricane, and it's like you have the pure calmness right in the center. And to me, that was the best metaphor to leave you with as you go through this week, is really knowing that no matter what is happening in your life, no matter what conversations or things that happen that you might think, could have done better, or, people are very, triggered or feeling energy, and just know you can go back to the center, because that is where you're driving your car, right? And you have no idea how you got from point A to point B, because you just are. And with that, I want to take us into prayer. So I can just feel the dynamic energy in this space. I know that there is just one presence, and this is that bountiful, beautiful God. I can feel the energy of all of the light and the love and the power that is coming forth out of this room and out of each and every person that is watching us online and those in consciousness. For I know that we are all divinely connected by this energy, that we are living and having our life form in this life as each other, because there is only one. So I am filled with so much joy and gratitude, knowing that in this moment, that each person that has come here today to experience this has gained some sense of clarity in their own lives. Knowing that something has called forth a transformation, an energy, a vibrancy, something that is needed in their own life for them to be that much more true to themselves. I claim in this moment that any thoughts of shame or less than wholeness or flawness or disconnection cannot be true in the mind of God, for God is only pure wholeness and peace and tranquility and love and calmness. And so I know that any of those thoughts must just dissipate into the oneness, because that is where they came from. I claim that in this moment that is any health challenges or any feelings of stress or anxiety, that all of those can be released in this moment and that perfect healing can take place. For I know that the power of God is in each and every one of us, in our body, in our cells, in our mind. And so the power to heal is here right now. I know that as we move through this week, we do it with grace and ease, that we are sensitive and calm and loving and kind to ourselves and to the world, knowing that what we do ultimately touches millions of people. And so with this, I just sit in the gratitude of knowing that you all came out tonight, that you've come here to grow and expand, which is so beautiful. I know that I've touched at least one soul in this space, and I just am grateful for the opportunity. And so with this, I release these words into the action of the law, knowing they are done. And so it is. Thank you. So now is the time in our service when we get to do a wonderful question and answer section. And so normally in services, you don't get a great opportunity to kind of say, well, help me understand this, or I had this great aha moment. And you get to do that here. So Kat is going to cruise around, and if anybody has anything that they'd like to share or questions they'd like to ask, I'm here to answer.
Not all at once, guys. I'm coming.
Well, the aha moment for me was the hurricane, being in the eye, because I was in the eye of a hurricane. And I did experience pure calm. Didn't think I was going to come out alive. But so I am on the outer edges right now. And I had many conversations today and this week. And I think you mentioned there's a reason why we're here. And every time I come, there's always a reason. But so that's the aha moment for me. I had several clarity moments. And going into the center, I completely get that because I was in that.
Oh my gosh.
Like literally.
Literally in it.
Yeah, in it, 2014, and super scary, super calm. So thank you. That was, that was meant for me to hear. Thank you.
Good. Love it. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, Jenny does.
You keep mentioning flaw and fundamentally flawed. Can you define flawed for me?
No, thinking something's wrong with you. You know, I would think for me, if I said, you know, I'm flawed in that, it means that something's actually wrong. And the truth is, you know, if I were to say something's actually wrong with me, then I'm basically saying God's wrong. Because God created me, and he can't be wrong. So, yeah.
So basically it's just a, it's a judgment call on your own part.
Yeah.
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 Because there is no flaw.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ginny. We have time for one more question. Going once. Going twice. I'll get you next time.
Yeah, no worries. I'll see you after.
All right. So, put your hands together because we're going to have Gary Lynn Floyd play another beautiful piece for us.
I wrote this song in the middle of a storm. Not literally, but it was a pretty big storm in my life. It was pre-earnest for me. I didn't know that I actually was participating and, you know, could change the way that I thought about it, and it would make it a lot more bearable and a lot easier to endure. But I found a book by a guy named David Data, I think is his last name. It was a book called Naked Buddhism. I'd begun to practice yoga a little bit, just to kind of begin to try to calm and center myself. And so this is a song kind of about the eye of my hurricane in that time in my life. Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Yeah. Breathe every breath. Yeah. Release your love without waiting, slowly unhinge, yeah. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. It's already who we are. Yeah. So lift up your voice. Lift it up now, now. Let it be heard. Let it be heard. Tell me your story. Tell it to me. Don't leave out a word. Not a word, no. 'Cause I think I've been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Lay it on down, down, down. Lay it on down. Unbound. Open your mind and unfold your heart. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was so good. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That really spoke to me. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Good. So we were on stage together at the CSL convention. He was playing music, and I was honored to be able to do the benediction on the first night, which was the Emerging Leaders Night. And it was actually a huge honor because everybody who spoke was actually a minister already. And there were 2 of us that were allowed to participate. So it was a definite honor, but it was great being on stage with you. So thank you. So this is the time when we're going to just do a quick power-up talk. And for this piece of the service, I just wanted to throw out something that came up for me that was a little bit different. I don't know, you guys might have seen it on Facebook, but a lot of times like random stuff comes over on Facebook and they're sometimes very inspirational. Never seen this one before, but it was a little video and it was talking about blue, let me say it correctly, blue space. Have you guys heard of that? Blue space? So what it said was that scientists say that the beach gives you this incredible feeling and this incredible sense and energy. And it's a feeling of peace and calmness. And it's actually been scientifically studied. Who knew, right? So me being the person that I am, I was like, ooh, I'm Googling this. And it's funny because in ministerial school, I'm actually in a class right now that's called research methodology, where we actually have to look at real research and develop a project. So I thought, I'm going to use my skills, my awesome new research skills, and I'm going to Google blue space and look at the actual research that it had, because I didn't know if this was just something they were making up or if it was real. But there were a ton of papers on it from actual universities, which who knew? And they said that blue space affects your brain in a very positive way. According to Foley and Kissman in their research paper, which they published in September in Health and Peace, blue space is defined as health-enabling places and spaces where water is at the center of a range of environments with identifiable potential for the promotion of human well-being. I know that was a lot, but basically it's saying it's a really good thing. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool because it is a real thing and it has been scientifically studied. Who knew? So I wanted to understand a little bit more then, what does blue space give us? Because if we're talking about inner peace, we're talking about how do we find that calmness within, I thought that might be kind of a really cool thing. And hey, we're in Encinitas, California, so the ocean's right here. So here's some scientific reasons why you might want to go and sit there. The benefits. Blue space reduces stress. I can believe that. Usually when I'm sitting there and I'm staring at the ocean, I feel very calm. But it actually scientifically reduces the stress within your body and the stress within your mind. So where you, before you go and sit near a body of water, and if for those online, it could be a lake, it can be a pool, it can be anything. It's a body of water, basically. But what it does is it fundamentally changes what's happening so that you feel calmer, and the things that maybe bothered you before you did that experience no longer has the same effect. It doesn't mean that it might not still be there, but it's lessened. The second thing it said was it makes you more creative. That's kind of cool, right? We can all use a little bit more creativity in our life. So I thought that one was pretty cool. And I think that's probably why a lot of people do go to the ocean to do art, to draw and to write music and study things, because they get that creative energy and flow in them. The third thing it said is it reduces the feeling of depression. Makes sense. Again, if you're sitting in that calmness and that inner peace, what we just talked about, then you don't have that same energy and effect on your body and in your mind that feeling that depression might be, because there's something there. I know for me, when I'm feeling down, I know that the ocean, the way I picture it, is that it's so vast that all I see is God, because I feel like it's infinite and I can't see where it really ends. So I feel like it goes on forever. So it gives me that vast feeling of knowing that I'm surrounded by spirit always. And then the fourth thing was, they say it changes your perspective on life. That's kind of a big one. But, I'll take it. If it's going to change my perspective on life, rock on. So I wanted to leave you with that. And if you want something when you're thinking, you can't have the luxury of being in the eye within the hurricane, right? I'm not saying that anybody else might actually want to do that if they had the choice, right? But at least you can go sit at the ocean and know that you're getting some blue space, know that it is scientifically proven, and give yourself some peace and tranquility that way. And then thank you, and so it is. All right, so this is the time of our service when we get to do our wonderful giving. So I want to invite our ushers forward. So what's great about this opportunity right here is that when we're in this center, in this space, if what I talked to you about today really served you, if you felt called, if you felt uplifted, for those online, if this is a place that you want to continue, what I love is the work that we're doing, not only here at Seaside, but in the community at large, and hopefully the world. Like Kat said, we've got people, coming online from all over the place. And so, this is an opportunity for us to give, not because that we know that we're going to receive back, although that is the law of circulation, but because it helps to continue the consciousness expanding into the world, and it helps to continue all of us showing up and supporting each and every one of you in your growth and development. So with that, for those of you who are on auto tithe, I know you might put in a wonderful little card, and there's donation, and thank you. Oh, affirmation. I forget this every time. Gosh dang it. If you guys can repeat after me the affirmation of abundance. This gift, repeat with me. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give in love. I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life, and so it is. Thank you. All right. So Kat and I are now going to facilitate with you. She's going to run around down here too. This is the time of service when we get to offer you an opportunity from last week. So Kat, you want to talk about what they talked about last week?
Yes. So last week, we had Leslie Goodwin here. Do you guys remember? She was awesome, right? I know. So I wasn't here because we were at convention. And by the way, you guys are all welcome. I didn't know this. But next year, if all of Seaside can come, like totally come with me. We'll just drive together. Okay, that was just a little blurb out there for you guys. Last week, Leslie was here and she talked about becoming less of a thermometer and more of a thermostat. So she gave us a call to action by watching the news as prayer homework, taking it to prayer, and then stepping up. Yeah, I know. When she told me, I was like, all right, I got to go watch the news. So we're going to talk about how that came up for you this week. And if you weren't here for the call to action, what came up for you this week anyway? I know that Kimjera's talk brought up a lot of stuff for me. If you want to add in that as well, then this is our time to talk. Because Power Up is not about just the people that are up on stage. This Power Up service is for you. This Power Up service is for the community, and this is what we're doing here. We're creating a community. We're sharing. So let's talk. Raise your hand. Every time I do it, someone else does it too. But I think it's because I have paper in my hand. There we go. See? See, it works.
So, it's funny. I didn't even think about the work for the week until you mentioned it. And what came up this week is I don't post very often on Facebook. And when I do, I try to be factual and kind of in the middle and try to invite a discussion from both sides. So I posted some things that were a reply to a friend of mine. She posted a video from this Mr. LaPierre who heads the NRA. And I had a couple of replies that I reposted on Facebook that really started a conversation. And amazingly, the conversation was very adult. Not, normally on Facebook, people seem to spend a lot of the time they just want to hear what they already know. Mm-hmm. And they're not willing to have a conversation that's about really maybe taking into account somebody else's point of view. And it seemed like just a little bit that happened, which I didn't realize, but it ties in perfectly with our work for the week. Mm. So yeah, it was very powerful because, like I said, most of the time I think people on Facebook are just there to find people who agree with what they want to hear already and not really to have a conversation. Mm. So, yeah.
Thank you, James. Thank you. You're such a great student. He's awesome. Anyone else? We have time for one more. Yay! I didn't see you walk in. Hello.
I think it's a beautiful thought to stay in the middle, in the center of the storm, being in the eye of the storm. It's so spiritual, it's so strong. It's also so impossible sometimes. And could you tell me how to do that when all around you is chaotic and mean and spiteful and degenerative? That's a word.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's not easy. One way, go sit in your blue space, we talked about. Know that I think the biggest challenge, and it's something that I work on an everyday basis, especially when we're in the month of like world peace and nonviolence and all of that, is trying to see that person as God. In all of their stuff, still knowing that they come from the same place. And I think there's a hint of clarity that you can get in that moment. And I don't know if those two things will help, but I think that might be able to get you started. Yeah.
Thank you, Kimjera. I just have one question for you.
Yeah.
So what if you live in like I don't know, in a cold place and everything is frozen? So when you go to your blue space, it's like frozen space. Right? Right? And it's not blue. Can they have like a blue light, or would that be the same thing?
I mean, I would take water in glasses. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, it's really just being around the energy of water. Yeah, there's another great I'm using all my good material. There's another great movie called What the Bleep. I'm sure you guys have seen that one as well. But they do a great segment in there on the effects of water and scientifically studying the effects of water. And actually, when they talked positive to the water versus when they talked negative to the water, what the molecular level did, it's fascinating. So I think having water around you and being positive, there's an energy that you do get from it. That's what I would suggest.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so here is our time of gratitude. So I want to personally thank Greg, who's behind the camera filming for us. Thank you, Greg. Gregory. I heard you, Gregory. Thank you very much. Tim, thank you so much. He's always here every Wednesday behind the camera and doing our live stream. Thank you, Tim. And we have the beautiful Melanie doing our sound today. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you so much, Ed. Ed has been holding the space, holding the light for us this entire session. Thank you so much, Ed. And then we have Audra, who was our practitioner for this evening. Thank you so much, Audra. And of course, we have the wonderful, the amazing Gary Lynn Floyd this evening. Thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, Kimjera Whittington. Thank you so much for inspiring us and for being here and for being you.
Thank you.
And thank you, each and every single one of you. You guys make Power Up. You make this possible. So I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your consciousness, your smiles, your laughs, your stories, your insights. And if you're watching, we feel your consciousness, so thank you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. So after service, we have cookies in the family room. I know there's always cookies and they're always amazing. So please grab one. Gary Lynn Floyd is here and he has some merch on his merch table. Merch table? Yep. And we have practitioners here. We have Audra and we have Ed. So if you need prayer, if you need someone to go into that prayer space with you, they're here. And this is what we're here for. So with all that being said, we're going to do our congregational song. Go ahead and stand up. And thank you so much, Gary.
I would like to teach you this. It's really simple. It's a chant that you can take to your blue space. How about that? I drove in from Phoenix. I got here a little bit early today, and I went straight to the beach. Every time I get near, I have to just have that space. So we'll just chant this for a minute. Take it with you. It goes, to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate, that's it, to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate, just lift it up, to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate anywhere you go to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate, one more time, to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate, so fortunate.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you if you're watching. We are going to be signing out. There are cookies in the family room, and we'll see you there.